Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Profit Project interview series, where today we're talking all things Profit First implementation. And, I'm always excited to be sharing the Profit First implementees with you, but today I'm especially excited because I've got one of my Profit First mentors and somebody who's been doing Profit First longer than nearly anybody in Australia at the moment on the line, and that's Laura Elkaslassy from Profit First Australia. How are you today, Laura?
Great, thanks for having me. What an introduction. Love it.
Yeah, I try my best to talk everybody up, but it's only because also I hang around with awesome people, and all the people that I know implementing Profit First, let's face it, they're pretty awesome people. And yeah, I'd love for you to share a little bit. You are a Profit First Australia, but also you've got a wide-ranging business interest, and so your background and that sort of thing. I'm happy for you to share a little bit with the audience as to, from a Profit First perspective, how you came across Profit First in the first place, bringing in how you've sort of done things in your other businesses as well. And just give it a bit of an insight as to where Profit First all sort of came from you across your business interests.
Okay, well, that feels so long ago now, if I really think about it. And I couldn't tell you how many years it was, but I came across Mike's book when it first came out. And it was interesting, but I thought too good to be true, so I left it. And basically, I at that stage had a bookkeeping, coaching, BAS business and another business that wasn't related in the industry. And so I really was sick of the conversations with business owners and getting nowhere, not being able to kind of like go, use this, let's implement that, and let's see some outcomes. And so I thought, well, let's give Profit First a go. And I signed up. I think I was like one of the first or second Profit First professionals to sign up with the US. And really, I was skeptical. I wanted to break the system. And so I'm like, all right, let's learn all about it so I can break it. And then if it does work, amazing, I can implement it in my business and help, my clients. And so it was an interesting experience because you have to implement it in your own business first. And, I thought I was pretty good with my finances until I did Profit First.
As we all are in the financial space. Yeah, I know that was my experience of coming across Profit First, reading through the book, and I looked at Loving Mike's work, and I saw the Profit First book, and I'm like, I don't even need to read that because I know a little bit about money and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, no, I'll read it, I'll give it a go. And, we all have that sort of, we think we know a little bit, but so what did you find? I guess as you try to break the system, I do love that. I know you talk about that a bit, and I love people that try to break systems and then, find a system that actually isn't breakable in some ways. It's pretty cool.
For sure. Well, I was skeptical because it felt too simple. And how could it really have the outcomes that were spoken about in the book and that sort of thing? And so when I implemented it myself, I realized that my OPEX was very much on the higher end because I could. The money was there. Do you know what I mean? And like I was actually making BAS payments and tax payments and all of that without an issue because I have always had that one bank account set up. But, it's really tempting. I'm tempted if I've got money in my bank account to kind of go, yeah, I can do that. It will figure it out later sort of thing. And so that was a real eye opener to me to see what my mindset was around money, which was the biggest thing. And what I learned from implementing it myself is it's a simple idea, not always simple to implement because we're problematic as humans.
Yeah, so true. And, I know you've worked with so many clients on this and you've seen it over and over, and it's exactly what I experienced. And, that's the more that we talk about it, it's a great simple idea and people can do things from reading the book and all the rest of it. But the challenge is actually really in the implementation and rolling it through and doing those sorts of things. So I guess some of those challenges that you faced along the way as you did do that and as you rolled out, and what did you find and the challenges that you actually found with your own implementation?
My biggest challenge was initially the shiny objects, because I did have the money to do it. Well, what I thought I had the money to do it. Do you know what I mean? And it would actually push my business in a whole heap of different directions. And I would actually end up being less profitable, not just because I was spending the money, but also because I was like, didn't stick to what I was great at. Do you know what I mean? And so it was really easy to kind of spend money going off in this direction or following that path. And so, yeah, the biggest challenge for me was stopping that bad habit, and really trusting that I knew what I was doing, and that if I stick with this, I'll get to the point where I can do all of those things and the timing will be better. So that was my biggest challenge.
Yeah, cool. And I love that. That's something that we see, I think, a lot of people and, entrepreneurial people, which is basically most business owners, because they've gone out, they've done their own thing. The bright, shiny object is such a thing. I know I challenge myself, I struggle with it daily myself. And yes, you do start to see how that flows on to your finances, as if your brain's going here, there and everywhere, funnily enough. So do your finances. And I've become more and more using that, where your focus goes, the money flows side of things. And that's one of the reasons I love Profit First, obviously, is it helps you focus that money. It gives your money a purpose. And it's kind of where I really kind of talk a whole lot about. But you've also seen so many people of your clients implementing Profit First, as well as, through Profit First Australia, the pyramid's getting bigger and more people implementing. What are probably a couple of the challenges that you see or you hear of from client side of things as well?
I think the biggest thing and the biggest challenge is that people think they're too far gone in their business to be able to make that change. So rather than it being that the tool itself doesn't work or anything like that, or even the practicalities, it's very much I feel so overwhelmed. I've got all this debt. I've all my revenues dropped considerably. There's just how can we make this better? They can't see a way out. And so it is actually more that which leads into the mindset of it than the challenges. Once they get over that and actually give it a go, it's keeping to the action of implementing Profit First. And I think I say this over and over again to anyone who will listen to me. Profit First is a journey, and it's really, really, really bad before it's really, really, really good. And so if you can do that dip, then you'll really come out the other side. And a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, so true. And I know, I love this, and I knew, you're just echoing everything that I've seen and heard, and I know that you've got far more experience in that than I do, but I think that's something that, we set up our programs and packages all around, hey, let's have an implementation period where we're doing the heavy lift for exactly that reason, because, we're going to do an analysis, we're going to show that the picture may be good, bad, ugly, or somewhere in between. Then it's getting over that potential shock. Then it's cool, let's actually make the rubber hit the road. Let's do the implementation. But yeah, this is simple, but it's not going to be easy. And yes, we're going to go through a whole lot of stuff, but that's why, we're there to help you through that, because again, human behavior, we know, and I've done it myself where I've done little bits and then it's oh no, don't keep myself accountable. And, it just falls away. And then it's no, this really has to happen. Need to get the accountability stuff, which is why I am now making myself even more and more accountable to yourself as we have our calls and the like as well. But yeah, that's so on point with what I see as well. So love you sharing that. And so then, we're talking about the challenges. What about the fun stuff? What about the outcomes that starting with the outcomes that you've seen in your own business? You've already touched upon a few of those, but I guess what would be some of these outcomes that you've experienced from having now implemented for obviously a period of time?
I've managed to do so much with my profit account, things that I didn't even think were possible in the beginning. So and that's the thing, is that where you start from, the profit percentage may be quite low, and therefore the dollar figure in there is not huge. And so it may go partially to debt, or even if it's coming to you as that distribution, it could be, a dinner out initially. I've since bought a car with it in cash, and I've also been able to bring stuff home that then set me up to offer my family a better position and that sort of stuff, because the business is working for me, and there's no way I could have done that or even believed I could achieve it if I hadn't have implemented Profit First.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love those outcomes. And I also love that starting so small and then obviously just that growth, because that's what it's all about. It's that incremental approach to growth and mindset, which ultimately takes you there. And it is this whole, well, that picture can be whatever you want it to be. It's just a vehicle for creating what that vision is. And I very much recall my first distribution, and it was or he's not out gold class with the wife, and he's like, yeah, how good is this? This is on the business. You know, we've done that
So
before,
good.
obviously, but I was like, I get little goosebumps right now thinking about it. It's just that little thing of going, darling, this is on the business. And it's that feeling, like, oh, that's why you're up to all these hours. Going, cool, we got to go to gold class. But then it's like, in the back of my mind, it's like, well, what are we doing next? And he's like, okay, what's the next thing? Cool. And that's like,
exactly
drives that profit conversation at home as well. It's kind of like, well, what are we doing next quarter? And it's, you know, there's a good bit of accountability right there.
Absolutely.
And I guess likewise with your clients and people that you've seen, what have you seen like some of the general benefits and outcomes outside of that profit account, even just in that small example?
What I've seen is a concentrated effort on what's working in people's businesses when they implement Profit First and do it properly. While it brings frustrations and challenges initially, it then gives them such a clear direction. So that's the biggest thing I've seen in terms of just having your OPEX under control and also being able to take home a consistent wage, even if it starts small. But I would say that the biggest thing that I see really helps my clients and even other people's clients that I've seen implement Profit First is the use of the profit account with that debt destroying, mentality around that, without it coming out of more of your OPEX and that sort of thing. And I know that you've probably spoken about this before, and the minimum payments come out of OPEX, but to be able to put a big chunk of your profit towards that. And I've seen, someone who was in negative $650,000 turn that around in a year and a half. Like, that was mind blowing. Even I was a bit like, oh, let's go for that stretch goal. And they did it because they kept to it.
Yeah, I think you're so right, because it's also that mindset of many people come in, they've got the business, and through whatever the investment was or how they've managed things, they've got to this point where it becomes this massive elephant that is there ready to stomp on them, and it's just always constantly on their mind. And then it basically gives them a plan and a process to actually do something about it. And I think that's the key thing, that once people see that they've got that plan, and it actually frees up their mind to focus on all the stuff that they're actually good at. And yeah, that's I love those ones. And so following on from that, I kind of, we like to keep it short, sharp, and the like. And so refine some of that down into, if you had sort of one or two gold nugget tips as to what people can do today, or sort of that one tip that you give for people to get going or to implement, what would it be?
Okay, so normally people respond with just get going. I'm not going to do that today. What I'm going to do instead is ask a question. Do you want to be reactive or proactive with your money and your business? And depending on the answer of that question will determine how your business is going to run. And if you want to stop being reactive and being proactive, and then creating the vision of whatever that business is, then implementing Profit First is a no-brainer.
Awesome. I love that. And it is something that's a little bit different from what we've had from other people on this series to date. It is out there, and I really like it as well, because I think it's something that, I always talk about that. Funnily enough, I do a bit of football coaching and the like, and literally one of the things I'm constantly saying is, let's be proactive rather than reactive. Let's not just watch this go by. It's like, hey, be on the front foot of everything you do. And I know I'm a big proponent of that, is, get ahead of the curve. And it's definitely that proactivity that does that. So that's an awesome tip. And so in wrapping this awesome quick chat that we've had today, how can people find you? Or if people want to learn more about Profit First and yourself as well, where do you point people to do that?
Okay, well, do we have about 20 minutes? No, I'm joking. Okay, so the easiest way to find out more about Profit First and Profit First Australia is to go to our website, which is profitfirstaustralia.com.au. On there, there's sort of a number of different things going on. We've got some great educational resources. If you want to work with a Profit First professional, then there is, the opportunity to be paired with a Profit First professional. If you'd like to become a Profit First professional, then we've got information around that, as well as, other resources and connections. We are literally everywhere. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Look up Profit First AU on most of those, or Laura Elkaslassy, and you'll be able to find us. And I love the conversations that happen when people get in contact. So yeah, happy to have a chat.
Yeah, awesome. And yes, I can second that. We'll obviously have all those links in the show notes as this goes out live, so people can directly click through to those. But yes, if people type Profit First Australia in, when we're in this region, definitely top of the Google searches, is front and center there. And, you know, I can attest to those resources, because I know that it's material that we use to share with clients and prospects and people interested in Profit First as well. There's so many great resources out there for people to take those first steps. As you touched upon, it's one of the usual tips is usually around taking action, and it's a great action to take is to check out some of those resources, go that little bit deeper, and then sort of go from there. So yes, we'll definitely put those into the show notes. And once again, thank you so much for being on the call today, Laura, and for everybody out there, again, check out Laura, check out Profit First Australia. And if you want to follow more of these awesome interviews that we're doing with people that have been there, done that, implemented Profit First in their business, sharing their stories, then make sure to continue following us at theprofitproject.com.au. See you next time.